Hello and welcome to the final part of this animation node series. This is going to be a little different because it's not going to be a normal tutorial. It's going to act more like a post-mortem of the series, wrapping things up and letting you know how I'm going to be proceeding after this, and also some things you can do if you're still interested in animation nodes and just procedural content generation tools in the future, what you can do to better yourself and learn and kind of move forward on your own. So a little recap. I probably covered a little bit of this in my last update video, but something I kind of want to mention here is that while I was gone that, year and a half where I wasn't doing anything, one of the big reasons why I wasn't making videos was because I was trying to make the next animation nodes video. It was something that I felt like I needed to do. It was something, like I wanted to do it at first. It was just something I wanted to wrap up the series. And I had a bunch of ideas for it, but the problem I kept running into is animation nodes wasn't working in Blender 2.8. Like for the life of me, I could not get it working. It wouldn't install, it wouldn't start, it would start and then just like none of the nodes would work, like they would connect to each other and then they just wouldn't work. And so I kind of gave up for a while and I was planning on just stopping it. But then a couple of months ago, I finally got animation nodes working in 2.8. It wasn't the latest version, but it was like the second to last version. I got it working and I got really excited. And so over the past couple of months, I was working on the last animation nodes video. Until a couple of days ago, when all of a sudden, just no matter what I did, it was like every 5 minutes I would get the red square of death where animation nodes was just like, I'm not gonna work and I'm not gonna tell you why. And that just kind of drained my enthusiasm for a project. So I did what I finally should have done 2 years ago. I deleted the video and decided I was gonna move on. But that's a good thing because now I finally get to move on to something new. I get to make new content with the channel. I'm not just the animation nodes guy. And I never planned for that to be a thing. It was just for some reason my animation nodes videos took off and that's what people really liked. And so I plan to keep with that. I plan to keep with not necessarily animation nodes, but that type of content, not art necessarily, but 3D content generation and programming and all of this stuff. And so the next project I think is going to be pretty cool. I think you're going to like it, but I will get to that in a minute. First, what I want to cover is what you can do moving forward with, again, not just animation nodes, but procedural content generation tools like animation nodes or cycle shader nodes or compositing nodes or anything sort of like that is more on the programming side. And as I kind of just already spoiled, the best thing you can do is learn programming. And now I don't mean that as just like, oh, learn this completely unrelated thing. But one, it is incredibly related, but I'm also not asking you or telling you should become an expert in this because obviously you're not going to become an expert in programming overnight. And to use something like animation nodes, I don't think you need to be an expert because one of the biggest questions I get, the most frequently asked questions is how do you get better at animation nodes? And usually the answer I give is just, you gotta practice, right? You gotta dive into it and you gotta discover what's there, come up with an idea in your head and see if you can recreate that. When you can't recreate it, Google it and see if somebody else has figured it out. Maybe they figured out an answer that you hadn't. Maybe you can just collaborate with somebody and figure something out, right? Diving into something is the best way to learn it. When I learned animation nodes, I had a huge advantage over what I think a lot of you watching this video have, which is the fact that I went into this already knowing programming. So for me, it was just a seamless transition because at its heart, animation nodes is just a visual programming language. No different than Python, no different than JavaScript, C++, well, kind of different than C++, but the same thing. If you know one, you can learn the other easy. And so something that I think would really help anyone who wants to learn animation nodes, cycles, any type of nodes, any type of, logical creation thing is you should learn programming. And again, you don't have to become an expert. You don't have to become an expert before you can use this, but it would help to learn something. A really helpful resource that I think, which I personally used years and years ago, is this website called Codecademy. Now, I'm not sponsored by them. This is me just saying this is a great tool and I'm recommending that you check it out. There's a course on Python 2. It's the slightly older version of Python, but not the useful bits haven't changed, and it's free. If you go to the link, I'll have it down in the description below. You don't have to even complete the course, but what I'm recommending is take an afternoon. Saturday, Sunday afternoon, just go through it, see how far you can get. And then go back to Blender and see how things have changed. Because something that Python has over a lot of other languages that's really great is that it's actually the language that's used to program Blender. I think Blender's entire user interface is programmed in Python. It's used to write add-ons, it's used to write scripts. Pretty much anything you can do in Blender automated using Python. So not only would you learn it and it would help you better in animation nodes and stuff, but it would also help you just use Blender better, automate things, generate crazy fractals just using code. It's pretty cool and it's really helpful. And again, if you want to get better at something like animation nodes, I'd really, really recommend checking it out. A lot of people think programming is hard. It's not. It's using the same simple instructions over and over and over again in different creative ways. Again, people think of it as code, as this boring thing, but it really isn't. And that's how I got into it, right? I got into the creative side of it, creating cool things. And, I want to pass that on to somebody. And if you like animation nodes, if you're interested in animation nodes, then again, learn Python, link in the description below. It'll help you a lot. Take an afternoon, check it out. So finally, the last thing that I want to cover in this video is what's next. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I want to keep this more about just wrapping up the animation node series. But the next project is going to be kind of cool. It's not going to be tutorials. It's going to be more of a vlog, me documenting me working on a project, which I think is really cool and something that I'm extremely excited about and something I've been thinking about for a long time that I need to make, and it's something I want to make, and I am more excited about this than probably anything I've ever been in a really long time. I'm not going to tell you what it is now. I'm going to have the next video out next week, and it will come out next week. Thank you for those of you who stuck around this long through the droughts, through the random weird videos that I've been uploading recently, like art projects and stuff. It means a lot. Somehow, I haven't lost any subscribers. They've gone up. I can't explain that one. But thank you all, and I will see you soon.
Don't be afraid. I'll be the one to guide you through this endless maze.